Simone needed a break from everything that was cancer related, and the perfect person to give her a break was Lando. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Lawrence Report. Tonight's broadcast discussing episode 8 of All American Homecoming. And y'all, I gotta give Lando his props. That man was acting his tail off in this episode. And that one scene in particular, y'all know what I'm talking about, when he was very emotional talking to Simone. He was like, yo, it's not what the professor said. It's basically a little bit much deeper to that. Man, that was some of the best action I've seen from him, period. This episode of All American Homecoming right here was basically dedicated to the Limone shippers. Like, this right here was y'all episode. And they, like I say, dedicated to y'all. And if this is your ship right here, this was perfect for you. But before we get started, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment. And this is basically the midpoint, and we don't have too many episodes left of this season of this show, period, because we know it got canceled, right? And this episode right here is basically about Simone and Lando. They're going on a date, right? But it's a lot of secrets that was kind of unraveled on this date. Now we know that it's supposed to be JR. JR is supposed to take her to her doctor's appointment or whatever, but he got pulled to the side due to some tutoring or something like that he was involved in. So he ended up calling up Lando to basically step in and take his spot, and Lando was that perfect person. Everybody else seemed to be tied up that day, but Lando was perfect. We see them right here. They're walking, they're talking, and they don't even realize that I think it was like past an hour that they had been, just catching up and talking and reminiscing. And whenever you're going through something like this right here, you need a great friend, a great support system. That's what Lando has been to Simone, a great friend and a great support system. And I was glad to see this right here. This episode kind of reminded me of, I remember when we was all watching All American, and they had a couple episodes here and there where it would be specifically just a date night between Spencer and Olivia. So I thought that concept was actually dope right there. And the thing about it, I'm wondering how they're going to tie this together, because we haven't seen Damon. Like, where's Damon at? Is this going to be left with Simone again having to choose between one of these men, either Damon or Lando, right? So I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap that up in this season right here. And we know that when it comes to them kind of both hiding secrets, right? Simone did not tell her mother that she has cancer. Coach Lonnie don't even know that she has cancer, right? And, Lando tries to flip the script, but Simone flips it back on him, saying, listen, what would you do if you was in my shoes? Would you tell your mother? You know what I'm saying? And we know that when it comes to Lando, he's into art, right? He's into art. He's basically like a photographer. And he wants Simone to become his muse, right? Simone refuses it because she's like, listen, I don't feel like myself as a woman. Like, one of my breasts don't even look the same. Like, I just don't love myself right now. Like, I don't feel part of my womanhood. And he's trying his best to speak life into Simone, but Simone is not having it, because having cancer is a lot. It is a lot, right? And we know that we see them burning cookies, which I thought was pretty funny on their, I guess you can say their little date, whatever. And Simone, she wasn't feeling the best. They ended up playing like a game of pool, and Damon's name is kind of mentioned, in this scenario, because like he's the one that basically showed her how to play the game of pool, right? And like I said, Simone wasn't feeling the best, so she decided to take a nap at the KEK house, and I can tell that Lando deeply, deeply cares about their friendship. If there ever was another relationship to form, of course he would be on board with it. But he's highly concerned about her friendship, and I love the friendship between both of them, and I love that right there. And I love how Lando reached out to his mother, right? He told his mother, his mother's basically a plastic surgeon for women that may be going through some type of cancer, right? And his mama ended up talking to Simone, the mom came through, and Simone has a support group of other women. And it seemed like Simone was definitely on her way. She's starting to feel a little bit better about herself because now she can be in a group with other women that are facing something similar to what she is facing. And I forgot to mention this part right here, but whenever it comes to the art, right? Lando, I say he was a photographer, artist, whatever, but somebody's been buying up some of his paintings, and he felt like his paintings wasn't really good enough. He thought all along it was his mother, but it's actually Simone. She's been the one that has basically been buying up the paintings. And one of the paintings, he said, it kind of came from, whenever she ended up choosing Damon over Lando, and Lando felt some type of way about it. Like this is the scene right here that I was talking about. Whenever I was like, oh, he was acting really, really well in this episode right here. And not to mention, we know that Simone wants to get a tattoo, and he ends up buying her as a gift. He's supposed to buy this girl a gift. He ended up buying her a gift, but he also bought Simone a gift, right? He basically bought Simone like these fake tattoos to basically commemorate, what she has been going through. So we see this scene right here is very, very intimate, actually, very, very intimate between those two. And when it comes to the art, Simone, like I said before, she refuses to be his muse, right? But eventually she does come around, becomes a muse, and, she's like, you know what? You need to present this project to your professor. I think it was the professor or the assistant professor, right? And he was like, "Are you sure?" And she was like, "Yeah, like do it, do it." So again, I'm happy. I'm happy that they're going this route as friends. It's going to be interesting to see who she was again, because they definitely going to set that up. And then as we get closer to the end, we know that Simone's mother comes knocking at the door. She says, listen, I talked to I ended up talking to my sister Amara, and I know what's going on, right? I already know what's going on. So that was the end of the episode. It was a great date episode, I guess you can say, for everybody who's either Team Limone or Team Damone, whatever you may want to classify yourself in this right here. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode of All American. So as always, All American Homecoming. As always, thank you for tuning into the Lawrence Report.